Hi guys, and welcome to another React video. I'm Chris, and today we're reacting to the Star Wars Celebration in Tokyo. We're reacting to the upcoming video game panel for a XCOM type Star Wars game, which could be really interesting. It's been an interesting celebration so far. We've got a few big reveals with Ryan Gosling, a helmed movie coming in 2027 called Star Wars Starfighter, Mandalorian and Grogu coming next year. And a Darth Maul animated show, which will be really cool. But yeah, I'm excited about a video game. I love XCOM. Used to play it loads back in the day. Loved Mario Rabbids, loved Marvel Midnight Suns. So I'm into these types of games. So I'm hoping this is really good. But I'm kind of gutted I'm not at Celebration this year because we've been to a previous one. We went to the last one in London. And the one in 2016 where I got this cool mug. But yeah, I'm gutted I'm not there. But it's Japan, it's far away and expensive. And if I want to go to Japan, I want to go to do the big Japan thing. So yeah, I'm still excited to watch it at home though. So let's see what's happening.
Have you ever imagined you were part of a lead operative going on missions during the Clone Wars? Well, imagine no more.
Yeah, that's right. Bit Reactor, in collaboration with Respawn Entertainment and Lucasfilm Games, are here all about the upcoming base video game, Star Wars Zero Company. Let's take a look.
It's a cool name for it, Star Wars Zero Company. Set in the Clone Wars. Just a cool vibe.
Hello, Star Wars Celebration!
It's Lucy James.
I am Lucy James, and I could not be more honored to be here with you all today because I get the incredible job of presenting a very first look at the brand new Star Wars turn-based tactics game and lead a conversation with the creators at Bit Reactor,
turn-based tactics.
Games,
love those type of games.
Respawn Entertainment. Now, I'm not going to leave you waiting. Let's get that trailer.
Okay, cool. That's quick. Here we go. I wonder if this comes this year. Respawn are involved, that's cool.
When people talk about the Clone Wars, they talk about the big moments, the crisis points, planetary invasions, all-out assaults, cities bombed to rubble. Truth is, there's a war you don't see.
Oh yes, this looks great. This looks like exactly how I want it to be.
The war beneath the war. A war that's won with the right strategy. Surveillance, ciphers, good old-fashioned sabotage.
Cool.
These aren't the heroes they tell stories about. They're professionals.
Good vibe, good music as well.
Setting aside their differences to take on the impossible.
Rob's gonna love this. This is the Rob game through and through. He loves these types of games.
But that's the job. And they
it's the guy. He looks like the guy from it looks like Platoon, to be honest. But also the guy from Saw Gerrera's squad. Okay. Oh yes. This is just gonna be XCOM Star Wars, which I'm completely happy about. I wonder if you can lose like members of the squad and stuff. Oh, not this year, 2026. Oh, that's a shame.
Did you like the trailer?
What's going on here?
I'm sorry, I said, did you like the trailer?
I like how they're giving us like what she's supposed to say.
Well, everyone, I'd love to
There we go.
formally welcome you to the Star Wars Zero Company
That was awkward.
panel, and to talk about this brand new game coming to PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Please let me
Not Switch
introduce
2.
you to our
That's a
wonderful
shame with the
panel.
mouse stuff.
We've got Bit Reactors, Greg Furch, and Aaron Contreras.
2026. Plenty of time to announce Switch 2, but
Ryan Kellogg and
it is a bit of a
Kelsey
shame that it's coming then
Sharp,
and not this
Respawn
year.
Entertainment's Jim
But I
Vasella.
get not coming out this year with everything, with how packed it is already, and GTA coming out. Makes sense.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Give them all a big round of applause, everyone. This is Readers Behind the Game. Let's go down the line and everyone introduce yourselves and what you do in the game. Greg.
Thanks, Lucy. Before we get started, we have a whole team home working on the game. You think you guys could give them a little shout out, give them a little love?
Woo.
Awesome. All right, thanks everybody. I'm Greg Furch. I'm the game director at Bit Reactor. I originally pitched this game to Lucasfilm, and my job is to oversee the entire development of Zero Company.
I'm Aaron Contreras, narrative and cinematic director. I lead
Bit
the team
Reactor
responsible
made.
for the game's story, characters, and narrative gameplay systems. This is my third Star Wars project following Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor.
Oh, good. Okay, so he's doing good games.
Hi, I'm Jim Vasella, a senior producer at Respawn, helping with the full production of the game. I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan. I'm the type of person who camped out for the prequels in high school and college. And as a producer, I've been making strategy games for over 20 years. And so this was a dream project for me when I heard about it. And I jumped at the opportunity to join right at the start.
Okay, so yeah, XCOM then. Bit Reactor made XCOM. Okay, fair enough.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelsey Sharp. I'm a creative executive.
Civ as well. I worked on
Lucasfilm.
Civ.
I work on anything Star Wars that has a story across our franchise, so not just video games, but books, comics,
That's cool.
and animation.
That
as
they've
well.
got someone like
I'm
overseeing
also
it
part
all.
of the team that oversees the
So it
lore
kind
and
of fits.
continuity of the galaxy far,
Yeah.
far away. But luckily, that job is pretty easy when I'm working with big fans like Greg,
I
Jim,
like
and
that.
Aaron.
And hey everybody, I'm Orion Kellogg, executive producer with the Lucasfilm Games team, and I look after many of the Star Wars projects that we have in development. For me, Star Wars is all about meaningful choice, so it's about time we have a strategy game, right?
Yeah, it's weird that we haven't had one yet.
And we're really excited about that. And you know, another thing we're excited about is the continuity of this team. Kelsey and I have been working with Respawn and Aaron and some other folks in the crowd here for almost 10 years now. And we really hope that that togetherness and continuity shows in Star Wars Zero Company.
Well, what a crew. A round of applause.
Woo.
Well, I mean, let's get things started with, I think, the big burning question that everyone wants to know the answer to. Greg, just what exactly is Zero Company, and how did this game come to be?
Thanks, Lucy. Yeah, Star Wars Zero Company is a single-player turn-based tactics game with an original story set during the Clone Wars. We formed Bit Reactor back in 2021, and we had this idea that turn-based tactics games are a genre that just has so much room to improve on with like innovation.
So they have worked on XCOM in the past, but just
immersion,
filmed in a
really
studio.
reach more fans than people really think. So we really went in that direction with it. That's how we've really been focused for the past several years. While that was working, you know, while I started, we've been working a few prototypes, had some concepts for some games. Then went out of nowhere, I got a phone call from Vince Zampella.
Wait, how do you get your number?
Just looked it up. I don't know.
Just casually getting a call from Vince
Phone books
Zampella.
don't exist anymore, right? Anyway, so now if you don't recognize that name, Vince is the head of Respawn Entertainment.
He made
He's
the
been
fucking
behind
great
some of
Star
the
Wars
biggest
games,
in
Fallen
the
Order.
industry, like the Star Wars Jedi
And Survivor.
franchise. Vince was asking me for my thoughts on creating a Star Wars game. Now, I've been a Star Wars fan since I saw A New Hope in the theaters when I was 4 years old. So I think you can all imagine like my reaction, right? Lots of excitement followed by lots of anxiety.
Yeah, especially making something in the franchise on the
The
line.
possibilities of developing a tactics game with the most beloved, most storied franchises in the world. And you know, it's the perfect combination. Honestly, one that I couldn't believe had never been done before. So now we fast forward to today. We're working really closely with Respawn, Lucasfilm Games, to leverage their history of making incredible games to make this amazing new Star Wars game. And while we're at it, I can't say enough about our partners here. Like, they've been absolutely the best and super supportive of us. So couldn't ask for a better group.
Well, right back at you, Greg. Like I said before, Lucasfilm Games, we're big strategy game fans here, and it really was about time, right? And with Bit Reactor, we have a strategy veteran like Greg and a lot of the other team members at Bit Reactor. They know what they're doing there. They have a lot of other extremely bright, talented devs working there. Hello to all of you watching. And they're all Star Wars fans, and it's true. And so I think when you combine
Star Wars fans making Star Wars games makes sense.
They're going to make a great Star Wars game. We know they're going to make a great strategy game, and hopefully together they really innovate the genre. So, Greg, we couldn't be happier to have you in Bit Reactor, and we couldn't be happier to have Star Wars Zero Company.
I love this love. This is so nice.
Much love.
This is so
all about love.
Well, the trailer has such a different tone and vibe from what we've seen from more modern, recent Star Wars games. Greg, can you talk a little bit about the vision for the game?
Sure. When we set out to develop Zero Company, we wanted to create an experience where the deep history of Star Wars and their galaxy is married with the engaging gameplay of turn-based tactics, of the turn-based tactics genre. In that process, we established 4 design pillars that we hold ourselves to every day. The first is start with Star Wars.
Cool poster.
Sounds simple, but what that really means to us is we stay true to the franchise.
That's good.
Part of that pillar is working with people that know Star Wars inside and out. So not only does that mean working with Lucasfilm Games, but also people like Aaron, who works at Bit Reactor now. But Aaron used to work at Respawn, where he helped develop 2 of the most successful Star Wars games ever made in the Jedi series.
Thanks. Yeah, when I joined the project, Greg and the team had already chosen the Clone Wars era, which is just a fantastic setting for a turn-based tactical game.
The best setting for that.
It's worth noting that we're also working alongside Gordy Habb, the award-winning composer from the Jedi series.
So yeah, music's gonna be good.
On our music and soundtrack. And Gordy's going to bring, a new cinematic feel to the tactics genre, and of course, deliver on that authentic Star Wars sound.
So the second pillar that we really follow is meaningful choices, and that's where thoughtful decisions impact the gameplay.
You're going to play as Hawks, who's a customizable hero who leads Zero Company. The decisions you make, what jobs to take, who to assign to your squads, and how you fight on the battlefield will have pivotal consequences in every playthrough of the game.
And the third, and this is one that's very close to me, is we want the game to be cinematic and approachable.
And so it is
something that I've been kind of championing for a long time.
And
this is where the genre, I think, can really be great.
The
thing we try to live by is the depth of the game shouldn't really cost you elegance in how the game is presented, right? Like depth and immersion, they're not mutually exclusive things. As players, you should expect both, and you should get them. So, you can see in the screenshot, we move the camera around depending on where the gameplay moment is and what we want you to feel as a player. So yeah, and I
like this little,
when we first started talking about this game, I think one of the very first Zoom calls we had with Orion, I was describing, how we really wanted to change this perspective, and I described it to him, and he summed it up. So I'm kind of borrowing from him. He said that depth shouldn't cost you elegance, and it's really something that's stuck with me. And all these years later, something that we really, really try to follow.
We just want great games.
Yeah, man.
Good.
Here.
The fourth is strategy and combat. And what that really means is think high-stakes battles with deep gameplay choices where we're delivering on both the tactical and the strategic layers as one cohesive experience. It's not just something that players experience in 2 separate halves. It's something that's woven together through the gameplay along with the narrative. So all this together, and if we've done it right, and I think we have, it results in a core loop of gameplay that's got thoughtful pacing and decision-making coupled with an amazing original Star Wars story.
Amazing. And I mean, all of this is so important.
I like how it's got a proper story
Getting
as well.
that Star Wars feeling is so important to get right. Orion, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. Like, what were you thinking? What was going through your head when you saw the pitch for Zero Company? Was it an email? Was it a PowerPoint presentation?
I think we probably started on a Zoom, like most things these days, right? So we started on a call, and I knew we had Respawn, we had Bit Reactor, and with Respawn, we've been telling stories with them for over a decade. I already talked about that. We were excited. We hope you're excited for another Respawn story, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
both of those stories were great.
Bit Reactor, we knew their legacy. We were fans of the games that they have made, absolutely, and we knew what they were capable of doing. And so I was like, okay, let's do this. I'm stoked, absolutely stoked. I think that's the precise term. And so making a strategy game in Star Wars, what do we have to do? What's our role in this? Well, let's give them a place where they can make meaningful decisions in the galaxy. Let's find a spot where they can make the best game possible, and hopefully we've done that.
Yeah, Clone Wars definitely gives you a lot of
dive into the setting, because the game is set
room
in
to
the
play
Clone
around.
Wars era. I mean, Aaron, can you tell me a little bit about why this setting is so perfect for a game like Zero Company?
Definitely.
It's the most tactical era, really.
Clone Wars are kind of a unique
wars.
part of our timeline, right? Because when you look at the stories that we tell in the Age of Rebellion or the Age of Resistance, they tend to feature almost exclusively asymmetrical warfare, right? It's like a little guy going up against insurmountable odds.
Yeah.
But the Clone Wars are uniquely perfect for Zero Company because it's when we see two relatively evenly matched forces, the Republic and the Separatists. And that backdrop creates so many interesting places for Aaron and his team to set their camera for their story, right? Because we know the conflict is unfolding across multiple planets, across the galaxy. There are multiple different forces and factions, some of which have conflicting allegiances that shift over time. There are, boots on the ground altercations, but there's also smaller strategic initiatives, and it's those kinds of clandestine missions where I think this very intimate and character-focused story that Aaron's team is working on really gets to shine. And that's why I'm so excited, why everyone at Lucasfilm is so excited for Zero Company, because if you've watched the Clone Wars, and I have a feeling some of you in this audience have, you know that we have
some of the best Star Wars out there.
Showing how complicated the conflict was, all the shades of gray, but I really think Zero Company is going to be one of the first times that players actually get to go hands-on with that, the war beneath the war that was mentioned in the trailer.
Yeah, we're inspired by the political intrigue of Andor, the gritty battlefield perspective of Rogue One, and of course the mythic pulp adventure of the original trilogy. We love how all of those stories respect the intelligence and attention of the Star Wars audience, and we aim to do the same. None of the characters in Zero Company are flawless.
Like how we name dropped Andor, because people will be loving Andor.
You'll have to lead your team with care and conviction, and at times make difficult decisions with permanent consequences.
Ooh, well, I'm dying to hear more. I'm dying to hear more about the story. Aaron, what can you tell us about the story and who we're going to play as?
Yeah, you're going to play as Hawks. They're a disgraced former Republic officer who now leads Zero Company. They're an elite outfit for hire, specializing in strategic investigations and high-risk tasks.
He looks cool. He looks cosplayable.
The operators under Hawks' command are a ragtag band of hero, outlaws, and exiles from all walks of life. You'll have to unite them against an emerging threat that, if left unchecked, will spread across the galaxy and consume everything in its path.
Ooh.
Set against the epic backdrop of the Clone Wars, you must lead Zero Company in a shadow war against a corrupting force that no conventional army is equipped to counter.
Yeah, if there's one thing we know from Star Wars, it's that those who seek power and control will also seek opportunities and opportunistic allies. And the face that they wear when we first meet them might look very different from the face that they wear by the end of the story. And it's those kinds of questions, like the big questions: who are my true allies? Who are my true adversaries? What do my adversaries actually want? That we think the players and Zero Company are going to be chasing down answers to together.
Yep, but Hawks can't find those answers alone, and that's where your team comes in. You'll build your squad from a mix of custom characters you create and original Star Wars characters authored for the game, and all of them will have a story that evolves as you play through the game.
Ooh, well, it sounds like we're going to have plenty of options to build our very own version of Zero Company. We got a little bit of a tease of some of the members of the squad. Can you tell us
cool-ass
more
clones?
about them?
Heck yeah. So this is Trick. He's a clone soldier whose laconic wit masks a haunted heart.
Ooh,
Trick has been with Hawks since they both served the Republic military and was injured in the same disaster that cost Hawks their career.
Yeah, it's not a Clone
me and Rob are going to get
story
on
without
their
a clone character's perspective.
on the
And
cosplay
our
for this,
Celebration audience
potentially.
knows the clones might all look alike, but each one has their own personality. And I think you're going to have a lot of fun getting to know Trick because, as Aaron alluded to earlier, the members of Zero Company can be drawn from all around the galaxy, and that includes from across battle lines. So one particularly incendiary member is Luco Bronk. He is an Umbaran sharpshooter who still hasn't forgiven the Republic for invading his homeworld. But that shadowy adversary that we alluded to earlier is going to be such an intimidating threat that we'll actually see a Republic clone trooper like Trick and a separatist Umbaran soldier like Luco teaming up on the same side.
Interesting.
But if left unchecked, those divisions on the squad could escalate into conflict or worse.
Ooh.
Next up, we've got Clive
That's
Calervo.
cool.
They're an infamous Mandalorian gunslinger and one of the last surviving members of the ancient clan Verminoth. She joined Zero Company because she sees him as the most direct route to completing a very personal vendetta.
I love that design.
Okay.
Join Clan Verminoth.
That is so cool.
And something tells me that if this audience is excited for a Mandalorian, you might be excited for a Jedi too.
Yes.
So in this case, it's our Padawan Telria. Telria is on a quest to finish her fallen Jedi Master's final mission.
Ooh.
Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Tel's character design was actually one of the first pieces of character concept art that we saw from Star Wars Zero Company, and she hasn't really changed very much since that very first submission. Of course, I love all Star Wars aliens equally, but why a Tognath for Tel?
Why not Tognath, Kelsey? I don't know. It's always fun to see a different alien species as a Jedi and explore 100%. Their unique perspective on the Force.
Awesome. Yeah, my one of my roles at Lucasfilm is working on our lore and continuity team, and so I'm always excited to see a character like Tel because if you're familiar with the species of Tognath, really the most known Tognath character that we have from the brand is Two Tubes from Rogue One. Two Tubes. But obviously, like, he and his brother represent a very
that's such a
hardline perspective
of fucking Star Wars
because they're part of Saw's partisans.
Like most people,
and so I love to see a character like Tel, right, who was raised by the Jedi, who probably has a very different perspective on the galaxy. I mean, spoiler alert, she does. Because one of my favorite things is getting to remember that in Star Wars, it's not just the humans who are the characters; it's the aliens as well.
And she has 2 lightsabers. That's pretty cool.
She also has 2 lightsabers.
Very Ahsoka-like.
You noticed that.
So these are 4 of the operators you can recruit into Zero Company over the course of the story, and we'll have more to review as time goes on. But you're always free to create, recruit, and deploy a full squad of entirely custom heroes if you want to.
Well, I mean, Hawks in the trailer says, and I'm gonna murder this voice, I'm sorry, they're professionals. Setting aside their differences to take on the impossible. I'm not available for voice work, don't even try. But that, to me, sounds like maybe they're not the best of friends.
You are exactly right, Lucy. Not everyone in Zero Company sees eye to eye, but the more they work together and face adversity, the deeper their bonds grow and the stronger your team becomes.
Building new squads, relationships is going to be a thing.
Gameplay.
That's cool.
You
that
mentioned
is.
gameplay there, but before we dive
and like maybe they'll work
into that, I do want to come back to something
squad
I heard
in terms of
Aaron
combat.
mention a couple times.
If they like each other.
Greg, did he say customization in a Star Wars game?
He definitely did. So you can personalize the appearance and voice and class of Hawks. So as you can see.
Oh, okay, cool.
You know, this is a hallmark feature from the best tactics games, and we're ecstatic to see what Star Wars fans make with it.
My cosplay ideas.
You can play as any combination of Hawks that you want, and
makes it a lot easier for me because all this needs to get is the outfit. Have myself.
So providing players with this deep customization system that extends to individual characters you can create and recruit in Zero Company as well. So you'll choose from a variety of archetypes, select their species, range of authentic Star Wars options like custom astromechs, Rhodians.
I was going to say, you got to have a droid in that squad,
surely. Fully customize their appearance and outfits. You can even rename them to your liking.
What if I wanted to go all astromech?
Well,
D-Squad.
You can actually do that.
Oh, Rob's going to love that shit. Yes. All droids.
I love that murderer's row of astromechs.
Bunch of
and
choppers.
I also love what you were saying about customization, Greg, because we had so many conversations during production about how, as fans of this genre, you really want to feel like, well, these are my characters. This is my Zero Company, and the choices that I make in gameplay mean I'm going to have a different playthrough from the playthrough that you're going to have because of your choices. But at the same time, as Star Wars fans, we're always kind of wondering, like, well, how does this impact the larger story? Do my choices really matter? And I think you and the team at Bit Reactor have done such a good job at really threading that needle so that every player is going to understand how their Hawks and their Zero Company are impacting the larger Star Wars timeline.
Yeah, for sure. We can tell They are really happy with being able to customize their character, customize their
Yes,
squad.
100%.
We know at
People love that
Lucasfilm
shit.
Games that you've been wanting to do that, and we're really happy to let you step into the galaxy with your team. And we're also really happy to see how you're going to combine your creations with our creations and the authored characters. Not only is it going to impact the story, but it's also going to impact the gameplay. Yes, there are ramifications for rolling deep with Astromechs, but I think impacting gameplay, pretty awesome too.
I mean, let's jump into talking about gameplay. Greg, what can you tell us about what we'll be doing when we're playing as Hawks in the game?
So as Aaron mentioned, this is a story about an emerging new threat, and Zero Company will have to do to stop it. Choosing your best squad for each mission is key because the stakes are so high.
I mean, so high, in fact, that even permadeath
and
limited ability to save your game are available on certain difficulty settings. Now, that being said, if you are first and foremost a Star Wars fan, and if you are maybe a newcomer to the strategy genre or the tactics genre, we'll have difficulty settings so that you can also enjoy the story and get through the game. But no matter what difficulty you choose to play on, you'll have the most fun by creating a versatile strategy and utilizing all the variety of weapons and abilities and more to be successful.
So that means my tail can live forever, right?
The Clone Wars is a dangerous time for some Jedi.
Yeah, I feel like this squad has to, like, die, right?
All right. So in between adventuring across the galaxy to embark on these missions, you'll return to Zero Company's base of operations, a place we call the Den, which is located on the Rank of Freen, which you may remember from...
That was like a base.
Yeah, and here you'll be able to socialize and catch up with your team as well as recruit, customize, and outfit all those new operators. And throughout the game, you'll be able to upgrade this space to really fit the needs of your playstyle for Zero Company. The Den also has this incredible galaxy map where you'll get to choose what strategic tasks and tactical missions to go on next. Players are going to always balance risk and reward to stay ahead of their adversaries.
Just sounds like it's going. I absolutely love this
fight. As you all well know, the galaxy is always shifting and changing as the Clone Wars progresses, and so you as a player will have to be adapting your strategy as well.
I love how everyone's operator is going to be named after their friends, and they're all going to die.
How this game fits into the overall Star Wars galaxy.
Well, yeah, like I said before, our job at Lucasfilm was to give Bit Reactor this huge playground to play in. And, as Kelsey was talking, the Clone Wars, huge campaign, so many things going on, really an infinite platform for all the stories the player can wrap their arms around. So in the Den, when you're interacting with the galaxy map, on scale alone, you're dealing with the biggest and most immersive map we've ever put out in a game. So while it's early in development, we did want to give you a sneak peek at the place where you're going to see how your choices impact the galaxy, and we think that doing that in this
galaxy map
with
from
this squad is going to really stand out and make
the galactic mode in Battlefront.
I mean, that's right, Orion. And I mean, this is going to provide us some exciting innovation opportunity for the genre with how you can influence your journey through the story. And alongside interacting with the map at this broader level, a selection of these planets will also be viable for the tactical missions you go on, allowing players to deep dive into richly detailed, authentic Star Wars battle locations, both new and familiar. And Orion, say, might be infiltrating a separatist base on one planet, while Kelsey might be raiding a pirate outpost on another. And these are a few examples of the types of missions and locations you have to go on throughout the Star Wars journey.
Jim, I think in one of the first in-person conversations we ever had, which was, I believe, at a restaurant in San Francisco during GDC.
He was wearing a bib.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe some cioppino was being eaten at the time. But you mentioned how, as a fan and a producer, you were so excited and geeked out about translating our very expansive galaxy map into this really cool, immersive, and interactive feature. And I think well, first of all, I just think you're all going to have so much fun, going through the interactive map, seeing all the planets that you recognize. But that level of fidelity also means that you're going to get to have some really fun gameplay on planets that you might recognize from some of our other storytelling. So, Greg mentioned earlier that the Den is based on the Ring of Kafrene from Rogue One, and you might have heard it shouted out in a certain episode of Andor Season 2 if you happened to be in that panel earlier today.
Damn it! They got to watch an episode.
And then I'm excited to confirm that the planet that you saw the heroes
disembarking
on at the
go on. I think I fixed it.
And then I'm excited to confirm that the planet that you saw the heroes disembarking on at the end of that trailer is Saralonis. So Saralonis was originally developed for the Clone Wars and then first seen on screen for the first time in Bad Batch Season 2. And you'll get to go to some other, cool deep cuts and Easter egg type planets as well. Snowy Vandor from Solo, as well as a newer planet, Mapuzo from the Disney Plus Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
And so a bunch of known planets.
Many more.
Is that a Nexus?
It looks like it. Wink.
You teasers. Absolute teasers. Jim, earlier you mentioned that you could socialize with your squad mates. I mean, I'm dying to see the Zero Company group chat, but I really want to know how those social dynamics come into play when you get to the gameplay.
Yeah, sure thing. I mean, every decision matters for you and Zero Company, from the next mission that you choose to go on, but more specifically, what squad members you choose to send
on
each one of those missions.
Very cool. It's very much
factor in the dynamics of those choices and their consequences is how the squad members will bond together over time, where you can turn, enemies and rivals into trusted allies. So, for example, as Aaron and Kelsey were mentioning earlier, Trick, our clone trooper, and Luco, our Mbaran, don't exactly seem to get along. But if you choose to invest in that partnership by sending them on missions together, they may be able to improve that bond over time, and that could ultimately decide their fate in the game.
Yeah,
That's cool.
When I was talking about found family earlier, this is really where that comes into play and impacts the gameplay. I think it's the kind of thing, these battles forged on the battlefield, evolving, is the kind of thing that means no two playthroughs are alike, and I think that's going to make everything really special.
His replayability as well.
It's really important to emphasize that this bond system applies to both the authored characters, as you saw in the trailer, but also all of the custom characters that you create yourself.
The astromechs.
So as all of these characters grow more experienced as they go on battles together, they're going to unlock new combat synergies, such as, say, teamwork reaction shots. And this has been one of the real treats working with Greg and the team at Bit Reactor, is that
I know how
bringing their expert experience in making strategy games to Star Wars Zero Company, and we've seen this manifest in the gameplay with features like this.
No, couldn't agree more. I mean, pillar number one was start with Star Wars, right? And I think when you plant those seeds early, as the game starts to develop and the abilities and characters start to get fleshed out, you see the Star Wars emerge. So you might be playing a tense mission where one of your characters is about to permanently die, and one of your astromech buddies might roll in and be able to toss them a healing stim, and that's a very Star Wars moment. Or you might be rolling with, I'm sure Kelsey will be rolling with Tal, and Tal will be able to use the Force and push somebody out of cover so that a sniper can take them down. And it's those kind of moments that just emerge as you're playing that make it not only a really deep strategic gameplay experience, which is really, really, really important, but also feel like one that could only happen in Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving hearing you all talk about this game. It sounds like it has definitely been designed with the Star Wars galaxy in mind and all of the fun that unlocks for all of us players. Very excited to get my hands on it. What do you reckon?
Yeah, man. Hyped, man. Hyped.
Do you have any other little reveals or hints you want to give this wonderful celebration crowd?
Maybe.
Maybe? You're going to make them work for it?
I swear, if you show gameplay and just don't show us, I'll be a while.
Star Wars ships and droids are built to last and almost always bring this strong sense of history and personality with them. And Zero Company, of course, like everyone, needs a ride to get from the den to their missions.
Of course. You get to design your own ship, hopefully.
I'm truly excited to say we've created our own new starship for Star Wars Galaxy.
I hate it.
This starship is a great example of the approach and care that the team has put into every environment.
I don't like it at all.
Every detail, every character.
It looks like a submarine.
So lots of attention to the detail in there. So we really do view this ship as a character, right, when we're making it. So it's built with the idea that we want to have a personality and we want to think that it fits really well in the Star Wars universe with all those iconic ships. So this is the Kson.
Yeah, I just want to shout out the Bit Reactor art department quickly, because obviously there's always iteration when you're designing something new for Star Wars.
Yeah.
But like they, woo! art departments everywhere. But I feel like they really got sort of the heart of Star Wars design very quickly. And one of my favorite parts of my job is getting to open up an email or a new Jira ticket and say like, oh wow, amazing art for me to look at.
It's an awesome experience because like you go from being fans, right, and we're all fans, to then being students for several years of it and really diving deep into it. And you guys make it easy. You guys keep us on track and give us some great information as we're studying the lore and really getting into the Star Wars of it.
And clearly every ship needs a go-to pilot. Could you give us a little bit of insight on how you landed on a droid to pilot the Caisson?
Oh,
we like him.
We like him.
I mean, you're making a ship, right? You may as well make a droid. So yeah, when we thought about, the ship, we were thinking, well, who's going to drive it? So we realized we had an opportunity now to not only just make a ship, but now we can make a droid too. So how often does that happen, right? 4-year-old me was cheering. So, we got to create our own ship, and the droid that lives in Star Wars gameplay forever. So we knew the ship had to be versatile to accommodate all the different missions that it could be taking Zero Company on. Of course, we wanted our pilot droid to have a really unique personality too. So after lots of conversations between our team and the teams at Lucasfilm, and just maybe a couple iterations, we came up with the Caisson, and it's a pilot Mevo, who will be joining Zero Company on this journey through the galaxy.
What are your voices in?
That's M3VO, Mevo.
Yeah, I like that.
So cute. Who doesn't love a new droid to fall in love with? Now, we are kind of wrapping up here, folks, but do we have any last words to say from the group?
Sure. If you couldn't tell by now, hopefully you can see how passionate we all are when it comes to Star Wars and Zero Company. We can't wait for players to experience our authentic Star Wars story through every aspect of the game, from choice and consequence,
I trust in the XCOM people.
Down to the course of tactics and strategy. This game genre in general just blends so nicely with the galaxy.
And it's not done enough.
We really just can't believe nobody's done it before.
Yeah,
it's been a lot of fun collaborating with the teams at Bit Reactor, Respawn, and Lucasfilm. I am incredibly proud of the fantastic writers, designers, and cinematic artists on my team, and we hope all of you enjoy playing Zero Company's story as much as we did making it.
Right, and Star Wars at its core, it's all about characters, right? And as we keep coming up with new gameplay scenarios and new stories to tell, there are going to be all sorts of opportunities for surprises that we'll announce in the future. But we can't wait to hear what you all speculate who we might run into in this game.
Yeah, so as you can see,
guarantee you're going to fucking run into Saul Guerrero,
and we are
because he's in
excited to share
everything.
more of what we're building.
There's a cameo forever.
So, and Star Wars Zero Company is releasing on into 2026. Wow.
Nearly said the actual date then.
On PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S.
And they Switch 2, which is interesting, because I feel like with the little new mouse thing, that would work really well. Maybe one day.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. A new Star Wars turn-based tactics game is launching next year. Can you believe it? A couple of final things before we go. We are doing giveaways of this wonderful announcement poster here at Celebration. So don't forget to claim one in Hall 7. There are limited availability, so get one before they are gone. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to our wonderful panelists. Give them a big round of applause.
Thank you, Lucy.
Yeah, thanks, Lucy.
Yes, and thank you to everyone out there in the crowd. Appreciate you all.
Thank you, everyone.
And we're done.
How's about we roll that trailer one more time?
Let's roll it.
Okay, well, I think it looks really good. I'm hyped for it. It looks very XCOM coded. Happy that Respawn's involved because they proved they can make a really good Star Wars game.
Planetary invasions.
Yeah, the customization in it is really cool. This trailer is really cool, to be fair. But like, yeah, the customization I think is really good. Being able to make your own squad, name your own squad, have a bunch of astromechs if you really wanted to. I think that just the way you can do that is cool. I'm interested in the relationships between the characters and how that's going to affect the story. I think that's awesome to put in this type of game. Which you don't get that much. The only one I can think of is Marvel Midnight Suns, so I think that's really cool to put into this one as well, in the Star Wars universe. But yeah, I'm hyped. I was hoping for this year, but I get, 2026 isn't that far away. We got a bunch, it's a patch year this year, so yeah. Let us know in the comments what you think, and if you're excited for this type of game, whether you'll be running a team full of astromechs instead. Rob, I know you will be. You'll be running full droid.
But that's the job.
But yeah, I'm excited for this. Interesting that I wonder if we can get any more Jedi. That's a good point. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye guys!